Hello everyone, my name is Suresh and welcome to another Google Cloud skill boost session. In this session, we will look into predict tax fare with BigQuery ML forecasting method. Okay, so here we will only perform the task provided here, and there won't be much discussion about what is BigQuery and what is the machine learning, what is about the classification, what is the feature engineering. We will not be going to discuss anything about. Okay. So without any delay, let's start the lab. Okay, so I just launched in the new incognito mode. So you can see to understand, you can pause the video and get into the information about the what is the overview about the query and what we are going to learn in this session. Okay, so right now I'm at the setup and requirement stage. So that is what I'm doing right now. Started the lab, opened in the Google Cloud incognito mode. I'm just waiting to load the application. So I should get an terms and conditions here. So you can see the project name, project number, and project ID here. And you can go and look into your student ID over here. You can get the student ID information in the top. Okay. And here, once we are good, terms and conditions. Okay, let's go to the navigation menu and BigQuery. Should not take this much of time. I'm not sure why this is taking this much of delay today. Typically, it won't take this much of time to load. Pause the video. Okay, so this is the page we got, and when I click on to the query, so let me run this query here. Um, Run. So this is going to get BigQuery public data, and here TLC yellow trips 2020, and you have this some information over here. Now let's check the progress. And now second question, what is the average speed of yellow trips? So this is basically we are looking into the how the data looks. We are just exploring the NYC taxi cab data. So first one we did we selected a month and number of trips, and second we will copy this and check for average speed of an NYC taxi, and you can see some the query will process about this much of data when run. Okay. So let's see the hour and speed. So this is the information we have received. Okay, So there is some inference over here. Okay, and let's check the progress. Now, this is the place where we identify what is the need of machine learning. You can go to this information. Okay, and let's select the data set. Copy this within public domain. This is the public data set which is available at this location, BigQuery public data set. And let's browse the list of fields as well. So this is basically the data. And here we can also identify the same thing in here you can see that once this loads, then I will here BigQuery public data New York taxi trips. This is basically this is inside the BigQuery public data. This is what our landing page was. BigQuery public data. If you open this, here you can see the public data New York for TLC. That is what here it is for. New York taxi trips. Okay. Now let's preview the data. This is what the preview of data. You can see some high insights. Let's not enable this. Don't know whether it costs something or not. Okay, let's go back to the query. Let's copy this query. And I want you guys to stop this screen and understand what this query is about. Okay, so this is not like just copy and running. That is, anyone can do that. But here the real challenge in this uh, in this lab is actually what you have to understand the query and understand what you're trying to do. This, so that's this system. Here, let's see what we are doing. We are doing with as parameters training and evaluation. Okay, and total pair. We are selecting the trip from the New York stats. Okay, so you can see the query will process 74.35 GB. Let's see if there is any time they have provided. You can understand the query. You noted a few things on the query. Okay, so let's try to run this. Query is completed. You can see the job information in 5 seconds. It has been processed. This much number of tasks, 74.35. And there are some information available here like chart, yes, and let's see the results first. I think there is delay in the opening. Okay, let's check the progress in the meantime. It's selected. Unfortunately, it is not displaying here. Yeah, got it. Now you can see the results as mentioned in the table here. Okay. Now, now, now this is the place where we create BigQuery dataset to store models. Okay. So in the Explorer, I just toggled it in the Explorer. Okay. And next to the project ID, this is the project ID. Here, you can create dataset. Uh, in dataset, in type as C. This is the multi-region. This will be US multi-region, and rest of the things I will leave it as usual. So if you want to see multi-region, there is an encryption keys, case insensitivity, and all other details. you want to customize this, you can go ahead and customize. But for this lab session, we are not going to do that. Let me click on the create dataset. Okay, now you can see the taxi has got created. Now let's check the progress. Now, now select the BigQuery ML model type for specifying options. Okay, now you can see the forecasting, linear regression we can use for classification, logistic regression. For clustering, we can use k-means. Predicting taxi cab numerical linear regression. You can see with numeric values predicting. This is classification span of now. K means is unsupervised learning. Okay, let's move on. Now here this is the query that one we will use to create a taxi fare model. Let me try to fit it in a single here. Completely expanded for you. Yeah, you can see the whole query in a single. Okay, now we are going to create a taxi fare. Let me run this. Okay, we are going to create a taxi fare underscore model. Okay, so with the linear regression and the label is total fare. And I want you to understand the query first and then proceed in the next steps. Okay, so let's see how much time they have mentioned. Wait for the model to train 5 to 10. Okay. Mm. So right now the query is executing for the last 30 seconds. So I'll pause the video and come back when this query is completed. In the meantime, if you want to see the model query, you can say this. So I will leave it as this. Now you can see the query is completed in the top right corner and you can see the job. Let's see the job information first. Found deprecating options label. Okay. Now you can see there is some information about the data and you can see some results. Model is created. We'll get into that. And you can see execution details. It took about 47 seconds. And there is some execution graphs. So you can see validation, process, training, evaluation. Okay. So let's get into the results and let's put the model. In this model, you can identify the left side also. You can toggle here to identify the model. You have the model, so you can either select from here. So this is the linear regression as we provided in the query. In the query, let me go back to the query. You can see there is a linear regression, linear, and some other information that is there. And during the training, you can see the training. Something is wrong here. Let me see this. Let me try to run. Too much. Fine. We have the schema and evaluation. Okay, let me put the check progress. Okay, let's evaluate. Now select the performance criteria. Now evaluating the classification model performance. And you can pause the video and understand this. Let me copy paste this in the editor. Yeah, this is a complete view of this. So let me run the query. Here, so we are going to evaluate the model. Okay, for the taxi fare and the query is completed. And we have the RMSA as 9.47. So this is the model. Once and the review the model and we got the state. And this is some other information about the how the RMSA has been calculated. Let's check the progress. Now in task 7, we are going to predict the model, and you can see there is an evaluate model in here. Now we are going to predict the model. Okay, this is the complete query. We can see select machine learning model predict and the model name, and rest of the query has been provided. Okay, let's predict this. Query is running. Let's wait. It will start popping up, and you can see some information. Now you will see the model predictions along with the actual queries. Okay, let's see the total queries for predicted total queries 11.22. Okay, so this is the query we have. So let's check. Oh, now let's improve the model with the feature engineering. So let me go back. Now this is a simple query. Number of pairs, low pair, high pair, um, average, and standard deviation. Yes, we got the number of pairs. The lowest pair is minus 21. I don't know why this minus 21. That is not right, but highest pair and average pair and standard deviation. As you see, some outliers in the dataset, negative pairs or pairs over 15,000. Apply some matrices to help avoid learning. Okay, limit the data only pairs between. Okay, let's do the same thing. Again, we are adding a couple of lines. Next one. Yeah, now we will see the lowest pair as. Now we are adding additional criteria to this travel taxi outside the running time. Now you can see the outside running time, average, standard deviation as well. Now let's create another rerunning training. So let me copy this, but you can see how fast we can analyze the queries even with the 74.35 GB of data. Now we are going to create another model too, and with some changes in. Maybe you can pause the video once you have the queries. You can compare both the queries and understand what is the difference. So we run. Create model, and after line 39, that is the last. This is the whole view of the query. So once this query, the model 2 is created, let's rerun the same queries for the evaluation and prediction. Query start. Okay, let me wait. Last time the model was created in 47 seconds. Now this is taking some additional time. So let's wait. Let's see how long it will take. And you can see it says results. I mean, my bad. Yeah, here we are. So this is the creating of a new model too. Okay, so the query is run. The model is created. Let me go to the model, and you can see the same here as a taxi one model, and this is the second model in the Explorer. So model. Again, this is the linear regression model. The previous one was also a linear regression model. Okay. Now, two, we can explore this. You can see the graph about the table, and let me compare it with the previous one. The first one, we had a training, and this has a training loss of 89.5. And now in the second model, we have the training data loss of 26.2. Let's check the evaluation. You can compare. This is the first model's evaluation, and this is the second model's evaluation. And schema, we have the labels and the features. Let me go to the first one. This is the labels and features. So that's the difference between, don't get confused because of the tab changes. Maybe you can identify over here, taxi model one, and this is our model two. This is the second model we just created. I hope you already saw this. This is the code or SQL query for creating the second model. Okay, let's move on to the evaluation process. Okay, so here we are going to evaluate on from the second model. You can pause the video and understand the query. Let me run the query. Okay. So I'm expecting some 5.12 query is distributed, and 5.12 RMS is the number. Okay, you can pause the video and then go through the next. The lower order is more accurate. Other data sets to explore. We already have it. Okay, so here we can see BigQuery public data we already have. Okay, just in case if you want to add, maybe if you want to see the process, maybe you can click on add data, and you can see a star, a project name, and if you enter the name the BigQuery public data, it will be displayed in the BigQuery public data. Okay. This concludes our session, and thanks for joining.